Welcome to the Copper King Mine and Railroad. Today we're going to talk about my layout plans. So stay tuned. We're going to talk about layout plans. Now this is my layout plan, but to get to this point, I had to go through a lot of work. Now these are pictures of. This is on a large piece of paper. This is a picture of my plan, and this is even before some of the rail yards were finalized in the city or the mill area. Now, before I even started digging my train room, I was drawing up plans. The first thing I was going to do is I wasn't going to dig out all the side room, and so my plan was just for this main room. And so you can see some of these early pictures right here, these drawings. Now, I had already made a layout on a 4x8 piece of plywood, so I knew some things I wanted. Here's these two pictures of these early pictures of this 4x8 layout. I thought it was really a nice plan, and I had to revamp it a couple of times, but it worked out really pretty good. When I decided to dig out both the side room and the main room, then that was a good decision, because that gave me room for all my grades going up into the mine, because that's what I wanted as my prototype, is Bingham Canyon with all the levels. So look at some of these early pictures, these drawings I made of my layout. It's kind of fun just to go back and look at some of these. It wasn't until the room was completely done and I laid down the plywood and I could see how much room I had, so I could actually really see how the layout was going to be. So to show you the actual layout, I kind of came up with this idea to do kind of a drone shot with my camera. Of course, it's not a drone, it's me with a camera. So overhead, and I'm going to show you the layout that way, and then pictures of the drawings and the plans. So this is the main city area. Now we're looking at the drone shot of it coming over the top of the city area. Don't mind my Mickey Mouse pajamas there at the bottom there. See my feet? That's my socks on. Anyway, so this is over the city. You can see that top loop, that top circle right there actually goes up into the top loop, so all the rails are connected together. And this is the yard area right here, what I finally came up with. This is the yard area right here also. Then the top loop, it goes right here from that point right there, and then it wraps around the little town of Copperfield. I had a show on that, a video on that. You can see it go behind that mountain there. It's not finished back there because no one sees it. Of course, I have a little access to it back there on that mountain. And now this is the side room I was telling you about. I wasn't going to complete, but I did. And so it was these rails right here. That's my grandson right there. He's helping me pull some tacks out of that cork bed. So I use this to maintain all the grades getting up into the mine, because my layout really goes high up into some of them upper levels. So this is actually going into the side room. There's only 4 rails. It's a pretty narrow little spot through there. And this is the corner where it turns right in here, and I call this the dump area. So this is the corner right here of the dump. And there's my grandson in that area. He's pulling some push pins out for that cork. So that's the dump corner. Now to the left there, you'll see that that's the top point-to-point. Just come flying through there. But if you go up here a little further, this is where the top loop meets up with the middle point-to-point. See that crossover switch? Those 2 switches right there. And here's the train on that point-to-point. So that's that picture right there. Here's a horizontal picture of it, not overhead. So you can see that crossover to get to the point to point. I like that little spot anyway. I think that's kind of a cool little spot right there. Now up further is where I have a switchback that goes up to the top point to point, not the middle point to point, but the top one. So these rails are all going up grade. There's the point to point waste cars right there. These are all going up grade to get to the levels into the mine. And this train right here coming out of this portal right there, that's going up to the top continuous loop on the other side. But the rail next to it is the one that is the switchback rail that goes up to the point to point. There's the switch for it right up there. Now you'll see the motor coming up. It's just chugging up that top point to point. So, and this is the mine area. It's kind of hard to film the mine area because of it's such a wide area, so I can't get it all in. And how to determine how high these levels could be and how wide they were. And I got some sidings on these levels and stuff because I do have a lot more room up here. So let's work our way down the other side of the layout. Now we're going to go over the Markham Bridge here. This is going down to the mill area. We have a video on the Markham Bridge. It was a great sight up in Bingham, so I had to put it on my layout. I talk about that in the video. It lasted until the 80s, this Markham Bridge. So we have a train going down this way, and then we have the top train going over the top loop up here. It's downhill pretty good, so he's making some pretty good time. Then we'll just continue on with him down to the next canyon where the underground mine is. You see him coming through here. Then at the bottom of the canyon, we see the lower train come through here. Then back up to the top, this is the end of the top loop. And he's coming around and he's going to go back up the grade, up into the third level down in the mine. And from here we go into the mill area and the yard of the mill. So this train's coming into the mill area. You see the one on top there, how high that is. But this is the mill area of the layout. And it's got open-end switches. They come in and then they go out. Then a couple of dead-end switches in the yard area. He's going on the outside loop there. One of the loops goes right through the loading station there, the Copper King loading station. There's actually a crossover right there so you can reverse directions just before you get into the tunnel. Then here's another view of it. This is coming in again, more at ground level. So he's going to the outside of this loop here in this yard. So that's pretty much the layout plan I had. It's enjoyable. Like I've said before, I usually have about 4 trains running at the same time. It's on the block system, so I could actually put 2 more trains on it without any problems. The transformers I have, and just keep them separated in their blocks. So that's the layout.